Welcome everyone, it's Evelyn. This is a very special read. I would advise you to watch it to the end if you're going to listen to this read, because there's a very profound and special message at the end. It's 11:44 on my clock right now, and 11 on this one. All right, so take a deep breath. Sending lots of love and healing. Just making sure my plugs are plugged in. Okay, so first, before I start on this read, I'm going to show you the pictures for the read today and a couple updates from the past couple days. So this is the read for today. This is the main read from the SIRIAN STARSEED deck. Doesn't look quite clear. There we go. And then here is the full read that's in front of you. Okay. All right. First, I want to say that I told you I thought there might have been an earthquake, not last night, but the night before at 2 a.m. I woke up at 2 a.m. thinking my bathroom was falling apart. I didn't see any news about it, and so I asked on my video that day, yesterday, and one of my commenters said, yes, there was an earthquake in New Jersey. It was Freehold, New Jersey, next to Asbury Park, and I guess I'm on that fault line because it's pretty much a direct path from Freehold. Is it Freehold? I can't remember. But anyway, it definitely was an earthquake. It was 3.1 apparently, and some really profound stuff has been coming up this week. Things I've been led to that I don't usually investigate. So, and then last night when I was meditating, one of the Rothschilds came into my periphery. So I had to make sure he left my field. And then I remembered my dream this morning. I didn't really remember the dream, but I remembered seeing Tesla in my dream. And I went up, and I just remember me going up to him and saying, so you're the man that I've heard so much about. So I was being a little bit, I don't know if I was being facetious or not, but just, toying with him a little bit. But it was a very good energy with Tesla. And Tesla just came up again today. So definitely things are coming up multiple times. There's definitely breakthroughs going on, which is a big theme about today. And so we'll get right into the read. Today is September 10th, 2020. We're going into the 11th in about 15 minutes. And I cut the SIRIAN Starseed deck at 10:53, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Knight of Swords. For those of you not familiar with my reads, it's a 7-deck read. The SIRIAN Starseed's the main deck, and it is for Divine Masculine, so it's the masculine within the feminine as well. It is a general read, so if something doesn't resonate with you, don't force it to fit. It's not for you, okay? But there are lots of messages coming through, some for the group, some for individuals. So I'd love you to stay with me for the whole thing because there's some beautiful messages at the end today. And if you should like any of my services, all my information is below. And I have a CD out there, Ashes, Twin Towers to Twin Flames. It's Evelyn Stainthorpe if you want to check that out. A song is only $1, so it's a great way to support me. And that's on iTunes, CD Baby, Amazon, and Google. Okay, let's see. Okay, SIRIAN Starseed cut at 10:53. Then I was getting E-Star, which is very interesting because there's a punch clock system that's E-Star that I used at Penn. And then the Adventure also comes up here. So E-Star can reference the star seeds as well, the feminine star seeds. And then that was at 11:08, which is Justice and the Strength card. And then at 11:11, the cards that went up for the read were taking me to the 5 Rothschild sons of the original Rothschild in Germany. And actually, in my name, Evelyn never comes up. And it's one of the Rothschilds, the men, his first name was Evelyn, because in France, Evelyn is a boy's name. And then in something else I saw today, it was in the news that Evelyn, someone, outed somebody about a sexual abuse. So my name's been coming up, and then and that was at 11, 14 to 15, which is the angel and the devil. And I finished doing the read at 11:30, which is justice and the Four of Wands. So that's the union energy, and the 11 of justice, which is just truth and balance. The major arcana here, the Lovers was upright in the middle of the read today, which it hasn't been up in a while, so that was significant. The Strength card came up, Starseed, which is the Fool, Justice, the Great Wheel, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and then the Star came up. And before the read, the Tower, and after the read, the Chariot. We had 2 wands, 1 cup, 1 sword, and 1 pentacle. The court cards were the Knight of Swords and the Page of Wands. Before the read, the Knight of Pentacles came up, and after the read, the Page of Swords came up. So 2 knights and 2 pages. There's a lot of messages going on there, or it can be children as well. And the code line was all about adventure. And the numbers came up. We had double 9s. That was it. Doubles weren't really significant today. It was more about 1, 6, and 10 really were the only main numbers that came up. And the 1 and 6 was very prevalent here because the code line was 16 of the Tower. And so the main numbers in the read that came up were 1, 6, and 10. And then the numbers that came up were 2, 21, 11, which is the World and Justice, the 1 of the Magician, the 6 of the Lovers, the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, the 16 of the Tower again, 610, which is then that 6 and 1 again. So it's source backing up the 61, which is the Liar, Cheater, Thief card, but it's really a card of inherent risk. And then 99, which is compassion and selflessness and endings. And then 12 of the Hangman, 56 of the Two of Swords, 69 of the Ace of Pentacles, which is that new beginning, and that is upright today. And then 910, begin again, which is also 91 with 0, source backing it up, which is the reflection of the sun. So, the code line, all about adventure, and the number 16 of the Tower. And note that Tesla's coming up, and that's Tesla's the MRI machine, 1, 2, 3, 4 Teslas. So the twin towers came up in my view as well today. There was a download I got, when I was doing this about the tower, and then I was seeing the twin towers. So, of course, a lot of people are reliving that energy, whether it's to clear it or just, bring it up. I'm sure a lot of people will be talking about it tomorrow. And the 6 of Flames was the challenge here. So that came up in the code line, which is the journey. It's bringing good news. Someone who's successful or getting attention and leading the way for others. So the message here about adventure was coming up as the after-death Christ, or Christo Sophia, toggling up to see the key in the divine. The Da Vinci Code was coming up here as well as co-creation and divide, and the Tower of Flames. So not only did the 6 of Flames come up, but it was Ace 6 of Flames, which is 16 of Flames, which references the Tower energy, and the Sophia path, and the adventure that it is. The sweet adventure. The Christus Sophia seeking the extra dimensionals in co-creation and acing the journey of the Sophia, which is the etheric energy of the divine feminine, the collective Christos Sophia consciousness. And then SS7 also came up, which is the old telephone signaling system, which I'm sure they still use parts of it. I'm not sure exactly what. But SS7 came up, but again, the 7 is the key. The S is the Sophia, and the 7 is the key. And SS, whenever it comes up, can be Social Security, but it's also about safety and security and the root chakra, and having that strong foundation, feeling safe and secure. And the only things that really came up online, 6 minutes came up, and 1111 Twin Flames, March 2nd to 9th, wow, ace, 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 ace. And then 6-year-old among 5 that had been shot. And And then that's just a lot of 5s and 6s. Yesterday when I was talking about the strain, 5 and 6 were coming up in the molecule. And then Divi's coming up as an acronym of this code. And it means the star or the god, like human, the divine, the celebrity. In Latin, it literally means godly, duty, or deity rather, and divine, of course. It also means, though, 2, or 2 o'clock, or a moment in time, 2 hours after midnight, or 2 hours after noon. And you notice the earthquake, and this is going to come in later again, was at 2 a.m. Okay? And the reference under the Divi was that definition in Wikipedia was, not Wikipedia, but Wiktionary, was Constantine's Carcilis, Karcelis, I think it was, but Constantine's with an S on the end and a K, it's spelled with a K. It was just interesting to me because my father's name was Constantine with a C, and it doesn't come up very often, but I'm going to get right into the read now here. So at 12:37, I started doing this read. That's the Hangman and the King of Cups. We started out with the Page of Wands, and the Page of Wands is here. In the SIRIAN Starseed deck, the Page of Wands is the masked boy with a burning desire. He's got a flame coming out of him. Okay, so below that is the Knight of Pentacles upright, the 9 of Wands reversed, the Tower upright, and the 2 of Wands upright. So the Page of Wands inspired after the Knight of Pentacles offers help, money or proposal or friendship or loyalty. In the Wounded Warrior reverse, the surrender to the Tower, the sudden event, the epiphany in a choice of a new path. The Page of Wands with the mask and that burning desire, juggling, performing, or dragged into the healing process, and fears and low vibrations, or burden, or weight, or responsibilities, or slave labor, and holding their tongues. They're not saying anything about it, but getting dragged into it again. The Hierophant came up reversed underneath, being inspired by perhaps difficult kids or the past returning to expose all about the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community, or legacy, and the dysfunction or loss or big expenditure. Foolish behavior, or someone who fell on their face or from grace. And remember that we're in the fall season now as well. It's naturally the time of the fall in the fall. At 12:44 is the Hangman and the 44 of the 4 of Cups, the grounding, integrating, and mastering of especially the receiving of love. Lacking faith here was coming up, falling on faith or falling on your face or from grace or lacking faith, and then suffering in silence or dealing with a sister, as the gate here is wide open for clarity of split lies, BS, to come through now, with the Hermit shedding the light. And that has to, and the Hermetic egg came up today as well. And this has to do with the gate wide open to also taking your sword out of your own heart, right? Not waiting for someone else to do it. So the 9 of Swords of suffering, but the 10th sword is now in, the big one. And Matthew McConaughey came up. I watched The Wedding Planner last night, but he came up again when I was doing this here. His hand in the movie, when he had tackled her to save her, he had his hand wrapped at the hospital later, and that literal hand being wrapped was coming up with the Ace of Swords. And this is the masculine having hurt his hand, trying to take the sword out of his own heart. Okay? So putting in or removing the final sword, perhaps visitors in your sleep, or seeing a professional, a wise advisor, or Virgo about sleep issues, getting to the root of the crown issues. Once at the top and know where to go, it's a long way down, so you better get a moving before you fall. At 12:50, which is the Hangman, and the 10 of Cups, which is emotional fulfillment, or that happy ending. Good news ahead as detoxing of chaos, or taking down the devil. The Empress above the 10 of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or legacy, or community, and their dysfunction or loss, or perhaps thinks she's above the law. And then Strawberry Fields Forever came up here. Or she's just rising above the dysfunction of her own family, or empowered to detox the Ten of Pentacles, her reflection, her shadow side. And then Worth Waiting For came up for the Divine Masculine, and beneath that was Passion. Worth waiting, the passions first, and then worth waiting for. The Evil Empress, there may be two different Empresses here, because the Evil Empress is a very different energy than the regular Empress. The Evil Empress is out being seen. She's all about sex and slavery. The Wounded Warriors surrender. All right, shutting down all business relationship for love and peace instead. No more right elbows and knees and feet, ankles crossed. The C curve or S curve, and the knee to sole, or 2 feet, 2 knees, but only 1 elbow or elbow grease. Now there's 2 elbows interlocked, fingers extended on a surface and locked in place. The silver cup prize, the dessert, the cherry on top, the curtains drawn. There's no more coffee in bed with coffee grinds or kofifi threads. No more roses or wars of or displays of baby's blood, only the World Cup filled with love and compassion, or that berry drink or dessert that you fashioned. Living the truth and leaning on a stone pillar, or leaving the truth. So it can be both. Leaving the truth, leaning on a stone pillar to deal with, and full body contact on the grass, Mother Nature, or surrendering power and money for love and peace. Or the Divine Masculine is surrendering to second place for peace. The effort comes up here for the Masculine, which is number 13, which is death and transformation and endings. And beneath that was personal growth. And number 7 of the Chariot, the vehicle of ascension. The fallen angel, or impatient, or losing patience and praying for grace, but not in church or out of view of Taurus or religious leader, establishment, or marriage, with the Knight of Swords rushing in with the harsh truth. Of the Ten of Pentacles, reversed family, business, or legacy, or community, dysfunction or loss, or tainted expenditures, turning a blind eye, or knowing but keeping to themselves to keep their energy pure, and detoxing the chaos around them at 117, which is the Magician and the Star. Or the hunt for buried treasure by an impish relative, a character. Truths at cross purposes. The turtle may not be getting it. No movement at all, or thinking they're going to lose it all the treasure by sticking with the grass ceiling, or in other words, glass ceiling in Oriental. Capricorn reversed and Taurus upright here. It's time. 2 R2D2s holding up the gold coin, and Jupiter rising, go, or Jupiter ascending, the genetic engineered soldier of 2015, who tracks down the woman who's destined to change fate of the universe. And then when I wrote this down, the time was 1:23, which is 1, 2, 3, jump. And before I wrote that down, I'd written down Jimmy Jump Jump, because after Rising Go, which is a song from Jupiter Ascending, the album I think it's the album title, is Jump In. So I'd written Jump In, and then the time was Jump, and then my brother just called, my mom used to call him Jimmy Jump Jump. So it's all about jumping in. And yeah, it's like go time. It's time. 2 R2D2s holding up the gold coin, and with Jupiter rising, go and jump in, or Jupiter ascending, the genetically engineered soldier who tracks down the woman destined to change the fate of the universe. Okay, so at 126, which is the Magician and the Page of Wands, Jupiter rises and set in New York. And this was coming up from timeanddate.com. And it can be seen after greater than 6 hours after the sunset or evening or early night. The King of Pentacles reversed is not speaking. And the King of Cups reversed is not unconditionally loving. The Scrooge, which can be the Divine Masculine's heart, is clinging, but the Divine Feminine's heart is opening to the Emperor reversed, or the King of Pentacles reversed and King of Cups reversed are both clinging while strategizing with the Emperor reversed, perhaps as the Knight of Cups, offering the Devil reversed, detoxing the Empress upright, offering money or new life to heal and forgive, the energetic exchange and deception, and burdened by the Queen of Swords reversed deception, walking away and within, away from a group, or to come together with lover, losing hope and needing to heal and dream again. Or to offer as the Knight of Cups love to the Queen of Pentacles, dumping all others for the one. Issues at the workplace or third-party breakdown, the state of emergency, break up, break through, break in, or chaos, all hell broke loose, and stuck all at the same time, with the High Priestess secret or intuitive abilities, and overworking or just done aligning with what's not working, offering new love to Leo upright, Cancer reversed, or Pisces or High Priestess on a quest, struggling to awaken, hanging out with the Ten of Cups family, or emotional fulfillment or end of cycle, and seeing new perspectives. The foundation here, or the root of the issue, is the Knight of Swords upright, sending 5D messages that are emotionally fulfilling or making family happy or helping end an emotional cycle by sharing or settling out with sovereign or for their sovereignty, the Queen of Cups losing hope in the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands, or Queen of Cups is over happy family, and Aquarius reversed with the Page of Wands and Knight of Wands, which definitely can be kids, and the Page of Wands may be over sharing or in charge of sharing, and the Knight of Wands is over their independence or in charge of their own independence, or the Queen of Cups just happy hanging out with the kids and sending messages. The underlying energy here was detoxing the Page of Wands with the mask, seeing the family doctor perhaps, or perhaps a professional of any kind, or the family paying to find peace in making an effort. The central energy here is the Lover's upright. It can be a Gemini, but offering love with the Hermit lighting it up, holding on to insecurities, a need for tools, and feeling guilty, sad for manipulating the situation, and challenged by the Six of Wands upright, leading the way with good news and not sleeping, and rising above, or well rested and awakening to sudden events, like an earthquake at 2 a.m., an epiphany or surrender to the quest, the King of Wands looking back and coming together with the 5D world, or celebrating this crazy world we live in and moving on to propose surrender. The Knight of Wands on a rescue mission, the Lovers and the Two of Cups, no longer patient. In knowing to propose by the slivery moon and surrender overworking in crisis, inspired now that the worst is over, to bliss, the King of Wands and the Page of Cups and the Page of Pentacles. Now, with a strong appetite, the Page of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands, impatient Knight of Wands Sagittarius here, with a new passion or of this fire sign, so it can be Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius, to heal, forgive, defenseless to energies and attacks or feeling ganged up on, in detox and chaos, and the fallen angel hanging out inspired to implement a new plan. Leo, Aries, or Sag chomping at the bit, as the Queen of Wands may have a new opportunity, being strong, the Knight of Swords, messenger of truth in the never-ending story of fiery drinker or potion maker with attitude, looking back or living in the past in exile, being strong, or with Leo or ego taming the beast and finding peace at 150, which is the Magician, and that 10 of Cups of emotional fulfillment, or a happy ending at least. Away from the downturn, or Libra reversed and Sagittarius reversed over the worst of the past, returning, or of dealing with difficult kids, held hostage inspecting every inch of the breakdown or accident, and grounding and integrating a new passion of the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands, love and inspiration, with shocking bliss in energetic exchange of expressing feelings or desires of the King of Wands with their back toward the Page of Cups and the Page of Pentacles. The King of Cups reversed may be shocked or surprised to find self divorced with major passion around him, offering time, money, and energy, a payoff or a new life, to the King of Pentacles reversed in energetic exchange with the King of Wands and the Page of Cups and Page of Pentacles. Soon, the Starseed is reversed. And in this deck, it's really much about not allowing their crown to receive a big download. So I stopped right there because I was out with my son today for a bit. When I came back, it was 514, which is the Hierophant and the 14 of the Temperance, which is reversed today. So there's impatience here. Or perhaps someone losing their temper, that fallen angel. Soon for the masculine is that Starseed reversed, with no big download coming in, or a lot of sudden back and forth energy, right? Expressing feelings, arrows of love, desires, but also a lot of communication or travel back and forth. And the King of Swords reversed, or felt the ground move and woke up in the middle of the night, receiving new growth, inspired in disconnect, or from not seeing eye to eye, or inspired at a distance. The Page of Cups child, or message of love, released by lover, affection of two out in the cold together. The injustice, perhaps Aries reversed, Libra reversed, or Gemini upright, and or Pisces child, feeling foolish, resisting the Tower energies, or pretending to give up to get the upper hand in the fight or competition. A little love goes a long way towards passion. It's like a little love goes a long way towards big passion. The Divine Masculine sees himself as justice reversed, that it's unfair, he's being unfair, or his situation's unfair, and choosing a new path to attract back what was taken. The Queen of Swords reversed, freaked out, or not talking with back turned, with epiphany or sudden explosion, eruption, after the death of something or near-death experience, or the never-ending deception before dawn, perhaps, happy with self without justice or Libra. Or the Queen of Swords reversed, flipped out, and is now not talking to Scorpio reversed and Cancer reversed, and or vice versa, and the Divine Masculine choosing a shortcut maybe they shouldn't be taking, and pleased with themselves, but the injustice ends up circling back around to him, like, because you can't take shortcuts. You can't hide the energetic truth, right? It's like people who like if nobody catches you, then it never happened. Well, it's 12:12 on the clock, because you can't fool the truth, right? The energy is the energy. You can't escape the energy. So flirt comes up and romantic feelings, and it is safe to love for the masculine. And then a separate section, release your ex, codependency, and deception all came up. So very blunt, two different energies coming up, and they can both apply to you or just one or the other. Around the Divine Masculine, or how he is seen, is the Ace of Pentacles upright, calling out Divine Masculines and kids to wake up and get moving. Pulling the sword from the stone. I was just getting Sharon stone too. When the earth cracked, or in other words, an earthquake. Pulling the sword from the stone when the earth cracked, or when Sharon Stone showed her crack. Oh, that's so funny how they bring that stuff up. Waking up just to fall back to sleep again, lacking faith in what they know, that the diamond has broken through the rough patch. The block here is the wheel reversed and not time. Standing up to others, so his challenge is thinking that it's not time, right? The wheel reversed, and that it's not time, and standing up to others in the awakening and is spreading the word. Adventure comes up here, self-discipline. It's adventure, but even more so, self-discipline and compassion for the masculine at 551, which is the Hierophant and the King of Swords. It also can be the Ace of Swords of the Truth, which Excalibur just came up, and the Magician. No longer flirting with the Queen of Swords reversed in the aftermath of perhaps the War of the Roses, but no longer showing their muscle or their sexual muscle to prove your worth. So you know when the earth cracks or the stone cracks, you know, we talked about the dam too, how they used to bury the kings by making a dam and getting the water out of the way, burying them under the river with all their jewels and everything, and then breaking the dam down so the water flows back over it and they're now protected. So the cracking of the dam, the cracking of the egg, the cracking of the earth, and the cracking of the stone, which is the divine feminine whose heart has been broken since the day they separated, and how to get the knife or the sword out of that stone. Well, the earthquake is what happened. The post-war Queen of Swords reversed, PTSD, and grief and depression and the loss of hope or arrogance, or Aquarius reversed, giving up the war, exposing all kids, sunshine, energized post-war, and needing to apologize, shocked into bliss, into the full energy and light in the energetic exchange with the King of Wands with his back turned to the Page of Cups and the Page of Pentacles kids, or message of love and opportunity. Unfair, they were left out or kicked out until the kids apologize, or the King of Wands and kids see the sun breaking through. But the Queen of Swords reversed is depressed and needs to apologize, perhaps to them. The King of Cups reversed and the Hierophant reversed, offering time, money, or effort, or a payoff, or a new life to the King of Pentacles reversed and Emperor reversed, or they could be the same person, walking away from the chaos, the brokenness, or left the scene of an accident. Aquarius reversed and Cancer reversed, or the King of Cups reversed Cancer, or he's divorced, perhaps paid the King of Pentacles reversed Aries to walk away from a situation or take cash at an accident. Or the Taurus reversed and the King of Cups reversed surprised the King of Pentacles reversed and the Emperor reversed with a payoff or money owed in the state of emergency, or for an ambulance, or breakup, or breakthrough, or break in, or break down. The chaos on the warpath and post-war depression and stealing. The fire signs hungry for vengeance, or kids told or exposed something behind their parents' back. The Page of Swords spreading the word. A little light goes a long way about suffering in silence, or his sister. And purging up nights, stressed, grieving, loss, regret, the past, and staying blind to keep your sanity. Pretending not to know to keep your energy pure, or a trip to the water to get balance and think without any disturbances. Leave me alone. I don't want to know. Aquarius reversed, Cancer reversed, Taurus reversed, Aries reversed, Leo upright. Perhaps the kids expose all to put an end to the war. Or Leo upright, Aries, or Sag exposes an Aquarius reversed. The Page of Wands masked boy with flame, or perhaps an STD, after surrender, the Knight of Pentacles suddenly to choose a new path. The Page of Wands upright and the Knight of Swords, injustice and the injustice of a new offer, a payback, or a new life, and the Ten of Cups end of emotional cycle of the lovers, or just a happy ending. Challenged by the journey, bringing good news, and perhaps somebody fell for it, or took a fall in the downturn, or slowdown, or twist of fate. Fire sign ferocious, breaking through the ring of fire, or at the circus, or being a first responder to rescue those with loss of hope in accidents or emergencies, or taking call, or the Page of Wands and Knight of Swords, or Messenger of Truth lovers make a breakthrough to transmute all the negative energies of the world at large at 627, which is the lovers and the Ace of Wands. The Page of at 627, which is then the Ace of Wands, the Page of Wands and the Ten of Cups, family, detoxing chaos in the state of emergency. The Knight of Swords lover, challenged by attention, leading by example, being strong when chomping at the bit. The injustice of the fall, when the earth cracks open, the raiders of the lost ark. The diamond is exposed in slow motion, needing to heal and shine its light, the brokenness, and bring the little light o' mine to the world, to purge, grieve, and keep their energy pure. So the central energy here was the lovers, upright, and the challenge being the journey, the breaking through of the ring of fire, and the injustice of the fall, which we're in that season now as well, the injustice of the fall, the diamond breaking through the ground breaking. All right, so we're cracking open the egg, we're cracking open the dam. I'm going to repeat this again. The lover's challenge is the journey of breaking through the ring of fire in the etheric realms and the injustice of the fall, the diamond breaking through the ground breaking. As the bangle is tamed, the diamond is exposed. In slow motion come together when fallen star and broken chariot come together in a diamond ring. Now notice that. Breaking through the ring of fire, and the diamond in the rough breaks through the ground as the falling star and broken chariot become the diamond ring. So then they were taking me into stuff about that stuff. They were taking me online to look up things. And first I thought they were bringing up a comet. So Halley's Comet and Atlas Comet came up, and a rainbow comet, which has a heart of sponge. The Rosetta, this was from, the article was 9/8/20, so 2 days ago, from phys.org. Rosetta spacecraft and its Philae, it's Philadelphia with an E on the end, PHILAE, so note I'm in the Philadelphia area, and the lander designed to probe comet's nucleus, its center, right, the center of the egg. The CONSERT, or CONSERT, experiment involved 2 antennae. And I just want to show you something, because the very last card in the read is the 2 of Swords. And what's that? 2 antennae, right? And there's that slivery moon, too. So the experiment involved 2 antennas sending precise signals to each other, like twins. But when the Philae, I'm not sure how they pronounce it, went missing on landing 11/2014, scientists had to work with estimated values. So what they found in this, it suggests the less dense interior has kept its pristine nature. Known as the most primitive of objects in our cosmic neighborhood, the comics might hold, deep inside, valuable clues about formation of our solar system. Okay, so then the Neowise comet came up as well, and then they took me to the constellations, because I'm like, we have the fallen star and the chariot. Is there a fallen star constellation or a chariot constellation? And I remember thinking a chariot's in there somewhere. So first thing they took me to was the constellation of Libra, which is very interesting. By the ancients, Libra wasn't Libra. It was called Chalae, or Chelae, but it means claws. And I talk about the lobster claws all the time, right? In the moon cord, the lobster with the dogs howling at the moon. So here's the claws, literally, of Libra. They were the claws of Scorpius, or the Scorpio constellation. So Ptolemy observed that the stars at the points of the claws operate like Jupiter and Mercury. Those in the middle of the claws operated like Saturn and somewhat like Mars. By the Kabbalists, or the Kabbalists, Libra associated with the Hebrew letter Het and the 8th tarot card. It depends on your deck. So sometimes the Justice is 8, sometimes it's 11, but here they're referencing it being the 8th card in the tarot, in the trumps. And you notice the trump coming up there. And then Libra added to other 11. Oh, so they had this 11 signs, but they didn't have the 12th. Libra wasn't part of the group yet. So after the 11, Libra was added in 46 BC by Caesar, which I always tell you, the one in the Gilded Tarot, the Emperor looks like Trump. It's got red, white, and blue, and it looks like Caesar too. So Caesar and Trump both came up right here. So it's just saying the different names for Libra. And then one of them was Coptic, was Lambadia, which brings up the lamb again. And the lamb aiding the human connection by human connection. So the lamb aiding the human connection with 2. And also the station of propitiation. The clam, it's referencing being gracious or a branch, the lamb. So lamb means gracious or branch. And then the lamb in the Libra, the Latin Libra is the actual translation then, and that equals weighing. So weighing of the coin, or excuse me, not the coin, that's a Freudian slip too, because the coin comes up as the co-hands, the 2. But the weighing of the Cain, so Cain and Abel, instead of God, right? That the human thinks they're more powerful than God, so they should take it into their own hands. The ancient Akkadian months were names of the signs, plus the 7th month is the sign we now call Libra. The Akkadian name was Tulka, Tulka, which means sacred mound or holy altar. Okay, so this was coming up from enwikipedia.org. And of course, the Chariot was coming up as the Auriga constellations, Auriga, and it's in the shape of a pentagon. And it's above Taurus, but it's actually connected to Taurus by 1 star. And it's very interesting how the picture came up. So Orion was coming up, but not that much here. Orion is the giant and the sword of the giant. So here's the Excalibur that cracks the earth open, the giant that cracks the earth open. And it was very interesting how they came up together. So Taurus was coming up, Auriga as the Chariot. It's actually the charioteer. And then I was looking for the broken star. So what's the broken star? What are they trying to guide me to? And this other stuff was from astrologyking.com that I just mentioned about Libra and the holy altar. So the first thing that came up when I put in the fallen star was Starry Night and Indian Sky, which was an American Indian Source.com site. It was about the Lakota star, knowledge legends. The Big Dipper, they said, from Orion's belt has represented the 7 council fires, right? Because the Big Dipper isn't actually a constellation. It's within Big Bear or Great Bear. But the fallen star of the Lakota constellation, the Winter Sky Myth, the Devil's Tower, so just listing the different things that came up here, the Harney Peak and the Magpie, which was very significant to them in a very special way, and the Greeks' Betelgeuse, in the Pleiades, the buff, also in the stars. So the stars of the Big Dipper equal the 7 council fires. One story of Lakota women who went to the sky, or a woman who went to the sky to marry a star. Now think of the parallel here. A woman who went to the sky to marry a star, and then fell to her death from a rope of braided Phimsilla quote-unquote turnip stems as she was trying to return to her village on Earth through a hole in the constellation. Even as she died, her child was born, and the fallen star became the hero of many myths associated with the stars, and then becomes a voice of power. So the mother dies, but the daughter lives on through the hole, through the portal. The daughter lives on as the fallen star, who then would go to save children and save their souls and things like that. So the Big Dipper comes up as the 7 stars, but part of Big Bear or Great Bear. And from kstrom.net, kstrom.net, according to the Lakota midwives, and this was July 9th, 96, to win blue woman spirit who helps with births, lives in sky behind a hole in the Dipper's center, where the fallen star's mother pulled up a turnip, creating the hole in the sky through which the fallen star came to bring light and higher consciousness to the Lakota people when his pregnant mother fell through the hole. So Orion and the Big Dipper are always separated by a vast expanse of sky and always remain the same distance apart, right? So they can never get closer. But realize that the Big Dipper is part of Big Bear, which is a really big constellation, and so is Orion. But it's very interesting, because then I was looking at, I'm looking for the Chariot and the fallen star. So I'm like, well, what are they referencing exactly as the fallen star? Well, fallen star is that the child, the spirit, the Holy Spirit who came through the portal to help us poor earthlings, right? And then we have the Auriga, or Auriga, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, constellation, which is the charioteer or the chariot. And it's also got a little offshoot triangle that's considered the kids of Capella, because Capella is the brightest star in that constellation. And it's also a double star, or a twin, in the chariot, the charioteers. So I was trying to get the configuration of how these are all in relationship to each other, but Auriga is literally attached to Taurus, and Taurus is next to Betelgeuse, which looks like kind of like a torpedo. Like, it looks like the space shuttle taking off, right? Or coming down, just the top of it, the space shuttle. So the way it looks, and it's right next to Gemini, which is the twins are standing right there. We got Betelgeuse, which looks like a crystal, right? It's a crystal with a point at the top. And then we have Taurus attached to Auriga, and it looks like it's opened. It's either an open pin or an open garage, because the Auriga looks like a house. So Taurus looks like some kind of slot, but it looks like the shape of a crystal too. It's literally the shape of a crystal. It's literally the shape where if Betelgeuse backed into Taurus, it would come out as a Vogel crystal, literally, attached to the house of Capella, the house of the twins, the house in Auriga. And the diamond in the rough, literally, it's like the diamond coming out of the earth, because Taurus is the salt of the earth, attached to her Auriga, which contains the Capella star, the twins, and is next to Gemini, which is the twins. So it was so cool the way this looked. And Pleiades and Sirius surrounded on either side, as well as Orion and the Big Bear, and other constellations, of course. So, wait, something else came up that I think was missed here. I guess that's what I have. I'm going to pull a card for you. So again, here's the fallen star. right? The blue woman spirit, right? The blue rays of the Holy Spirit, right? The Sophia, the collective consciousness of the divine feminine, but also who helps births, right? Rebirthing process, the dark night of the soul, and lives in the sky beyond a hole in the Dipper's center, the Big Dipper, where the fallen star's mother pulled up a turnip, creating the hole in the sky through which the fallen star came to bring light and higher consciousness to the Lakota people when the pregnant mother fell through the hole. So she comes through the Big Dipper, and Orion's always completely separate from that, right? Like a different dimension. And then we have the other two, the star, which is the star is the it's like the Auriga house shape thing connected to the Taurus, closing in on itself. And this actually reminds me of the pin closing as well, or a broken pin. It's right next to the twins, though. It's the twins' house, and it's the twins' garage. And all they need to do is put this crystal together to make the Vogel-shaped crystal, just like the what is it, 51, whatever, angle of the pyramids. And that's Betelgeuse. And say Betelgeuse 3 times. Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse. And the crystal wand appears, the diamond in the rough, where it cracks through the surface in an earthquake. And the Bengal tiger gets through the ring of fire, which represents, Lionsgate, to come to where we are today in September as I'm going to repeat this again, as the lover's journey break through the ring of fire and the injustice of the fall, which we now are, and the diamond breakthrough of the groundbreaking discovery. The Bengal is tamed, the diamond exposed. In slow motion then come together when fallen star and broken chariot come together as the diamond in the ring, shared with Taurus. And Libra coming up here too. It was so cool. All right, so let me pull an energy deck card, see what comes up. Where are we? It's 52. It was just 35. 52 is the Queen of Pentacles, and 35 is the Wounded Warrior. And when the Queen of Swords comes up, not Pentacles, the Queen of Swords. When the Queen of Swords comes up reversed, she's already grieving. So when she's reversed, she's in desperation or grief. And then we have the Wounded Warrior. So it's very much, and the Wounded Warrior is in surrendering. So when you're in so much grief, you can't do anything but surrender. You collapse. You have to. You have to surrender to the universe. You're beaten down until you give up. And that's when you can be reborn. So this is for everybody watching, for the best and highest good of all is concerned. What is it we need to know? What do we need to learn? What is our takeaway from this beautiful read? And you notice here too, the Wheel of Fortune is actually upright because that's the theme of the read today. Okay. So the energy deck. Let's clear all negative energies across all dimensions of time, space, matter, and realities for the highest good of all is concerned, and fill that empty space with only beautiful divine love, diamond crystalline light, and our senses. All right, let's see. What is our takeaway for this read, please? First chakra, Archangel Michael. It's all about safety and security and making sure you build a strong foundation, that you feel safe and secure in your own skin. 35 is the Wounded Warrior in surrender. Surrendering. Let's see what else is coming up here with them. Oh, there we go. It's 35 of the Wounded Warrior, and there's the tower. The clock tower. It's 9/11. It's 12:38 on the clock, which is the Hangman and the Queen of Cups. And here is the foundation of the 9/11 memorial at the Statue of Liberty. Wow. There's 2 more that want to be seen, but I do want to show you. This is the underlying energy. Rest and rejuvenation of the Divine Masculine, the Sun. Let's see what's underneath it. And there again is the Feminine who is graduated. She's broken through her crown and more, but she's still not happy. And in this case, usually I get like the graduate who's not happy because she's not living her dreams, she's living someone else's dreams. But here I'm getting it's because here's the Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, and she's just not happy no matter what, completely without her other half. And that's the crown, the crowning achievement today of resting and rejuvenation with the Sun and being at peace with each other. And the other two cards that want to be seen, and it's very similar contrast here, is the Angel of Strength, which is 50 of the 10 of Cups, the emotional fulfillment, and the Strength card in one. So Strength and the 10 of Cups of emotional fulfillment, happy family, happily ever after ending, right? And then here we have the broken heart, right? That it needs to expand, it needs to crack, it needs to be groundbreaking if you really want the dream. And there's the tear, the one tear that comes out, right? This is clearing the wall. See, there's a little bit of mold there from the crack, right? Although the liquid that's been seeping and sitting there for a long time. The heart needs to crack, just like the ground needs to crack in order to readjust itself, just like the basement has to crack when you make a new house. And that's why it's saying the strong foundation is coming up. So look at the contrast between these two cards, the emotional fulfillment and the endings and heartbreak. And look at the colors. They're very much the same colors as these two. This one's much more red and gold, and then this is more, angelic and white. See that? How they're both very similar in that respect. So here we have that foundation that needs to be very strong because it needs to be able to withstand the crack of the earthquake of taking the sword. You notice he's taking the sword out of the stone. The Divine Feminine, who's in mourning. She's mourning her lost love. How much time does it take for the root to get to the crown? The towering moment when she's liberated. This is a very profound read, you guys. Okay? Where she's strong, when she's strong and she stands in her independence and allows her heart to crack, right? Even when it hurts, because she knows what's best for her and her sovereignty, right? And that may be to come together with someone, and it may be to tell them that something needs to happen first, But it's about the feminine is for her to learn to totally stand in her own knowing, in her own power, without wavering, even if it means her heart breaks. And for the Divine Masculine to create a really strong foundation in order to achieve the crowning glory. And here we are on 9/11, all right? Ground zero and the towers. I mean, you can't get any more exact than that. And the strength of all those hearts broken, right? And what comes out of that. And notice that tomorrow and show the appreciation, the gratitude for all those souls who contracted to do that for everybody else in order to help liberate them. I'm going to have to leave it at that. Okay. And it's the 11th hour, you guys. There's the 59. We're on the final minute to the countdown for New Year's Eve. So make sure you, I'm just going to wait till 60 minutes. It's like a little bit of a prayer. So let's close your eyes. And just imagine that white light coming in and clearing the world. And just like that teardrop coming out of the heart, all of the bad energy coming out of the world. Make sure you drink your water and get your rest, your joy, and your nature. come such a long way, baby. Be proud of yourself and rise and be love.